Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we are going to be reading into the energy, insights, and guidance coming in for your week ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so welcome back to another week here in 2021. We're starting out fresh, we're starting out with some different kinds of energies. We definitely have a collective energy happening within these weeks, but you can see more of that when you get to your guys' piles. So I won't talk too much on that and spoil it for you guys, but there's definitely a collective energy that's following through. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I do want to say a warm welcome to those of you who are new, as well as my returning subscribers and viewers and community here. But to those of you who are new, and I'm sure the people who are normally here usually skip this spiel, which is fine, but I just want to let you guys know, if you are new, I use tarot cards, oracle cards, and charms, as well as other different divination methods to create these different pick a card readings here on your weekly readings or weekly forecast or week ahead readings every single Monday. I also do readings at the beginning of each month on the blessings that are coming in for your month, and I also do timeless readings and private readings as well that you can check out as well on this channel and through my Instagram and email. But if any of that interests you or the different divination methods that I utilize here, feel free to subscribe and join this community. I'd love to have you guys here. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started at looking at these piles and see what we have here. Alright, so for pile number 1 here, we have this Pinecone, which makes these really lovely sounds that I personally love. I'll put it near the mic here. It sounds so nice. Hopefully it sounded nice anyway on the mic. And I also did do this painting a while back. On these beautiful little birch trees. So it's got these gold little flaky bits that pop out as well. So that is pile number 1. Just clean up my mess here with the pine cone. For pile number 2 here, we actually have this, I don't actually know what to call it. It's sort of like this handmade air freshener that melts in the sun. So it's like this sun melty wax thing that my best friend actually sent to me, one of my favorite pen pals. And she sent it to me, and I just think it's really beautiful, and it smells so good. So that is pile number 2, if that resonates for you. And pile number 3 here, we have a piece of Howlite on top of this little wood disc, which just made it slide off. But here is a piece of Howlite, and then underneath it you also have this ornament that is made from salt dough that I made recently. So that also is there, and it also smells like a cookie. It makes you want to eat it, but it's kind of solid. So this is pile number 3. So those are the 3 different piles. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a very distinct collective message that's happening within each of these piles. So really take your time as we take this deep breath together to look at each of the piles and really feel them out, because it may be more difficult this week. But we're going to go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath together so you can make a better decision on which pile is for you. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together now. And as always, there is no right or wrong way to choose these piles. You can choose all 3 piles, 2 of the piles, 1 of the pile. You can choose a pile, change your mind, switch it and swap it, all you need to. There is no right or wrong way to do this. But for those of you who are ready, and feel free to pause, as always, there's no rush, but for those of you who are ready, feel free to use the timestamps down below in the description or the chapter marks within the video that are provided to find your specific timestamp to your pile. You can also see all of the different things that I offer down below, like my Instagram, private readings, and the different supplies that I use, which I'm actually using a different tarot deck as mentioned in these different piles, so that's really fun as well. You can see all that information down below. But if you guys are ready and you figured out which pile is for you, we'll go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this little pine cone as well as this little watercolor painting with these birch trees, then this is the pile for you. going to go ahead and set those down right here so you can see them during your reading. As today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using the Secret Garden Oracle, the Spellcasting Oracle, and today's tarot deck is so special to me because I'm actually going to be using what at the moment, this is a temporary name, not sure for sure yet, either the Star Sisters Tarot or the Goober deck. Tarot deck, because this was actually made by my sister, whom I call Goober, so that's where the name came from, but she made it specifically for me. She made all 78 cards for me. She started in November, and she's been just booking it to try to get it done for me for Christmas, so I'm so appreciative. Wanted to use it for you guys here today. It's so sweet and so personal, so I'm really excited. So she, just in case you guys are curious more about how she made it, I will link the specific place she used to manufacture like the fronts of the cards and get the cards printed and made, but the backs of the cards she did all herself, and it's so sweet and so kind, and she put so much love and energy into them. So I hope you guys enjoy them here today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started before I ramble on more about my sister, because I love her so much. She's like one of my #1 supporters. So anyway, this goes out to her, this reading today, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So Group 1. Alright, so the first one you have here is Strength. See what else this deck has to say. So Group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance. This one was Persistent. Okay, so you have the Knight of Wands. Isn't it so cute how she did the court cards? I love it. So the Knight of Wands. See what else. So Group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 1's week ahead. The week ahead for Group 1, and energy, insights, or guidance for Group 1. What do we need to know about Group 1's week ahead? So chatty at the beginning. We'll see what else comes up. Group 1. Group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance. All right, there we are. Okay, so you have here the Magician. So you have the Magician, Strength, and the Knight of Wands, 2 major arcanas, and a court card. So that's interesting already. So let's see what else you have coming in with this oracle deck. So Group 1, we're looking for this, apparently. So we have Weed. Do not tolerate less than you deserve. That's such a good message. I love that about this deck. It has like these really lovely garden messages because it is the Secret Garden. But I just think that's such an important one. So let's see what else you have coming in with the Spellcasting Oracle for your week ahead, Group 1. What do we need to know about the week ahead? The week ahead for Group 1 here. The week ahead. Alright. So you also have Transformation. I love this card too because it has all these beautiful, like, I always think of them as looking like gears, like they're shifting and changing within the inside of the butterfly. So it's not always something that is apparent from the outside. All right, so you have Transformation and Weed. We'll get your last one here with your watercolor affirmations, but stay tuned later on in the video where we will be doing your charm cast, so stay tuned for that. But Group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 1 for their week ahead for Group 1. Whoa, way too many. We'll try again there. Trying again. Sometimes that happens. Especially with that transformation. You could just have a lot. So Group 1, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 1 for their week ahead. Group 1 here. Okay. So the one you got here is find the way to rekindle that fire inside you. So this is sort of like inspiring yourself, kindling yourself, bringing back the flame, the spark for yourself in your life, your love for your passions within life. So that's what's coming up here for you. So let's go ahead and start deep diving into these messages here today. So the first thing that I was starting to already get with those gears, with this transformation, with the weeds, and this Knight of Wands is that I feel like there is someone you need to weed out from your life, right? That's of the Knight of Wands material. So the Knight of Wands is usually someone who's very direct, very passionate, very intense sometimes. If they're in a relationship with you, they can be intense at times. They also can bring a lot of passion and kindling and stuff like we were talking about here, but it also can go out just as quickly, you know? So it can be like a person that's very charming at first, but that charm doesn't last very long, especially when you start seeing more of the practical side of them. So with the weed, it says here, do not tolerate less than you deserve. So if this is someone that is kind of being a bit flaky, they're not really there for you, they're giving you enough to hold you there, but not enough to stay. Or if you feel like you have like an obligation to them for some reason, whether it's a family member or a friend that you've just had for a very long time, or it's a relationship or you have history with this person that makes it very difficult to leave. There is this need though that they are just really, they might even be making your flame become less, because with the Knight of Wands, they have such a high flame in general, all this passion, all these ideas, that you may feel like you've had to kind of follow in their footsteps and you haven't really been able to pursue your own passions, your own ideas, your own loves in life for all sorts of different things. You're not able to pursue them because you're having to use all of your energy, all of your time towards what their needs are. And that's what happens with a weed, right? They'll take over your area or your land. So they're going to take over your garden, what you're trying to grow, what you're trying to manifest, what you're trying to work towards, because you are trying to manifest things, because you have the Magician here, right? So the Magician just tells me that you are trying to manifest, you're trying to work with your own inner power. You're also trying to work with that inner feeling within you, that inner passion that you have towards life. And that doesn't have to be something that's very specific. It could be something that's very spiritual, very personal to you that you're working towards. But they're trying to take over your light. They're trying to be in the way of everything you are trying to manifest and work towards. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to just cut this person out of your life entirely, but you may need to spray those weeds back, right? You need to stand your ground, because you also have strength coming in here, which showcases that animalistic strength, that you're going to put your foot down. You're going to tell them what you need, what your needs are. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a person. This can also be an energy. So it could be something that is coming in general that's taking over. So that could be a society kind of thing. That could be something that's more than one person, like an umbrella of something that's sort of holding you back on some sort of level. Or it can be something very specific to a specific person. But with strength, I really do see you pushing past that. You have that roar, you have that lion within you that can put your foot down, tell them what you need, tell them the space, lay down the law when you need to, put up your boundaries, your energetic boundaries, your structure, put down that foundation, because if not, they're gonna, they're gonna weed right on into that garden. So you also have transformation here, right? And it could be that you're having a spiritual transformation, because you also have the Magician here, which, like I said, can be a very spiritual experience that you have with life in general, and what really gets that fire going for you. So what you're passionate about, what you really are trying to put the kindling on and regrow something. So I think you're transforming in that. You may be having a spiritual transformation, or in general, you're just learning how to be more strong, put your own self forward, showcase, that you should be something, that you're not the second, to your life, like the second-hand character or the side character. you're the main character, right? So you're transforming, and I don't think it's a transformation that everyone is going to be perfectly seeing, right? Like I was talking about, all these gears are happening on the inside, and now it's time to showcase that you have changed on the inside, and people may not know it from the outside. So it's time to put those ideas, those foundations, those boundaries out and in the open, because otherwise people aren't going to see that fire. They're not going to see what you're trying to spark. They're not going to see that light that you're trying to ignite, right behind this transformational butterfly. You have that light, and if they aren't able to see it, then they're not going to be able to know that you're ready to bloom, to blossom, to be another butterfly, to change, right? Because butterflies also talk about change, and this is good change. This feels like really good change for you. Although it may be scary, it may be something that's difficult because it does require strength. It's something that you deserve, okay? So you are deserving of this. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms, group 1. I feel such empowerment and good vibes from your pile. I just think it comes down to, putting your foot down. So let's see what you have here with your charms, group 1. So group one, you're looking for an information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1. For their week ahead. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the ones that fell here and then start to see. You had a butterfly, but it did fall upside down, so they just didn't really want to talk again on that exact experience there. Honestly, not a lot is falling in your central ring, but a few charms here. So we'll look into those in a moment. But, that one was upside down. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in, because yours is pretty simple this week. I don't feel like you have anything that we haven't already talked about too much, but there are a couple other things that we can get into some details about, like this crown chakra that came up, because as you guys know, if you watch these more often, whenever you get a chakra specific to your charms, then I pull out these different chakra love cards and pull out just the specific ones to the crown chakra so that we can speak and see some more information there. So here are all of the different ones that correlate to the crown chakra, and if you are not familiar with chakras, there are tons of different types of chakras, but the crown chakra is part of the 7 main chakras that are known, and the crown chakra is at the very top of your head, much like a crown. Some people believe it's above your head, and it has to do with more of connecting with the divine source, or connecting with the universe, or connecting with spirit in some way. So let's see what comes up there. So group one, we're looking for their crown chakra message here for their week. What do we need to know about the crown chakra for the week for group 1? Okay, so this one flung out, and you have the crown chakra of peace. And it says here, in stillness, the answer will be revealed. And with each of these chakra cards, they also showcase a stone or crystal that you can utilize to help balance or bring peace within your life for this specific message. And this one says clear quartz. So we actually do have a bit of clear quartz right here. So using clear quartz, it's like one of the best crystals for just about anything. So there is clear quartz for you to bring in peace, to bring in serenity, to feel more chill, I suppose, for some of you. So that's coming up over here. So we'll go ahead and start speaking on these in a moment, but we'll start here first in your focus ring. So like I said, you didn't have a lot fall in your focus ring, and this one even kind of fell off to the side. So the one that actually fell the most is your growth charm. So we have this, like, makes me think of summer. It's just so summery, it's so beautiful. It makes me think of the fruits and everything that are growing in the summer. And then you also had this specific one. So this is growth, but it's like enlightenment that comes with your growth. So maybe it's time to reflect on what you're growing in your life, what isn't growing, like I was talking about with that garden message. I really feel like it's trying to figure out those weeds, get all of that out. So we've already kind of talked on that specifically. So this just makes me think of your garden that you're growing and what you need to weed out for you. You also have inside this little bottle cap, you have the binder clip. So this is where you feel sort of bound to something or someone. And then you also have the endurance charm. So this talks about something that's very long term. And then next to it, or underneath it rather, you have this little mouse. And I always think that this looks like a very like defensive, kind of like this is my life, my way, highway kind of guy or person. This little mouse does. And so because you had that bind and that endurance charm, which showcases long term, I feel like this may have been a long-term relationship that you've been in with someone. That could be a friendship, that could be a family member, or something that's more platonic. Or even romantic, but whatever it is, they're falling right next to your garden, and it's showcasing you putting your foot down towards what you're bound to. So you may feel like there's these karmic cords, or you feel like you felt like they were your soulmate, your twin flame. You felt like they had something that you owed to them, that you couldn't do that. So it's time to flip this over, and instead of just looking at the fact that like, oh, but I have commitments to them, I feel bound to them, I feel like I have to stay with them, like blah, 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 whatever it is, it's time to take this from looking at it from this perspective and flipping it that way, right? So you need to put your foot down. You need to be more put that to the past, or at least find ways to not have them, so stringed and attached to you. You have to be an individual in this situation. And if you feel like you have any spirit guides or spiritual team or the universe or God or whatever it is for you that you work with, you do have that coming up here. And what you have with this specific charm representing those people or certain energies, you have next to it the react charm. So this is about what you're reacting to, what you're seeing. So there may be something that you're reacting to because you saw a sign or a signal from them, or you're sending out something and that's causing a chain reaction of some sort. So if you're trying to manifest something with them, maybe you're finally getting the result, right? Because it's creating a reaction. So that's showing up there. So if you're manifesting something or wishcrafting something with that magician card, I think that it's starting to manifest into the physical reality for you. You also have the smooth bolt. So this is just, instead of like a bolt that feels like it's in the way, this is when you've smoothed the edges, smoothed it over. So you may feel like you've just been constantly just, having all these excuses for this person, and you're trying to make it like, oh no, it's fine. I'm bound to them, but like, I'm just going to smooth it over. It's fine. So that's just another message, I feel like, again, to weed them out or just bring back of your empowerment in this relationship. So now in this little cluster, you do have the cycles charm, but what's exciting, especially with that transformation and everything, is you are breaking that cycle, right? Because it was a cycle that you were going in a loop, going forever. You felt like it was never going to end, and the carousel has stopped, okay? You've put a stop to it, or some way you've manifested a stop where it doesn't have to be there anymore. So this can be something, like I said, with the situations we've already been talking about, but this can also be talking about habits in your life. So because we're at the beginning of the year, for those of you watching closer to the date when I post this, it may be that you're just ready to break certain cycles in your life that you were doing in the year previous. So this is more of a reflection as well. Some of the cycles that you may be breaking, like I said, is something that you can bring more peace into your life. So maybe you need to rekindle a way to bring peace back into your life. So whatever peace means for you, going down to the river, connecting with nature, listening to podcasts, chilling out and watching Netflix, talking to a friend, whatever brings you that peace for you is going to start coming in as these cycles start to break down for you. You also have money being part of those cycles, so there is money coming in more frequently, more towards your goals and towards the frequency that you're trying to manifest with. So that's starting to come in as well with these cycles being broken. And you're also getting the sun showing up here. So the sun talks about clarity. It talks about your inner child, healing your inner child as well. So it may have been something from a childhood situation, or it could also be just that you're gaining more clarity and reflecting more on these cycles for some of you. And then lastly here, you have two other charms. So this charm represents a change in your style, in your physical appearance, or you're just changing something up in your personality, that you're transforming there. So people may have always seen you as being more timid, less you are always friendly, always approachable, and you can still be those things, but I think that they're realizing you're also stepping into your power more as you're going through life, because you're gaining that strength and you're putting yourself first and you're seeing yourself as first. So you're actually putting more thought into the way that people see you, perceive you on a strength level. And then lastly here, you have a higher perspective showing up here too, because you have the Eiffel Tower. So this can mean, literally a higher perspective, seeing things from a higher perspective, maybe through your spirit guides and the way that they are leading or guiding you. But it also does talk about sometimes, because when this was first built, people did not like it. They wanted it taken down. So it also can be that something that once you may have felt was a bad idea or something that could never happen, or you wanted to get rid of it immediately, with a new perspective, you see how you could reuse it or change it or transform it so it doesn't have to be something you get rid of. So like I said, it doesn't mean you have to literally just all of a sudden this week cut this person out, although for some of you it may be that intense, but some of you it could just be that you need to change the way that you structure your relationship. So with all of that said, sorry about the blurriness here, but with all of that said, we're going to go ahead and just recap here. So you have transformation popping up. You are gaining strength and empowerment through this transformation. You also have the Magician showing up. So the Magician, like I said, you're manifesting something, you're working towards something, and that's starting to gain a chain reaction that's going to help you. And you're maybe starting to see those in your everyday. The person that you need to weed out is someone of the Knight of Wands, and I don't really need to go into more detail. You'll know who this person is for sure. And then you have the weed. So it's time to weed them out. Get them out of your garden. Let yourself grow and flourish, and don't let them block your light from the sun, okay? So you can start to grow and become your own butterfly and not just follow behind them as this little moth or something. Although moths are beautiful too. So those are your messages here for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Feel free to check out the charms or look at any more of these cards on your own. And let me know in the comments down below how you felt the reading went, if there were specific cards that really impacted you, or just in general if you want to spread some positivity down there. I always appreciate it. Also, please be sure to give this video a like. It really does help this channel continue to flourish and grow as well, and I appreciate it so much. And lastly, if you are new to the channel and this is one of your very first videos here with me, welcome. It's lovely to have you guys here. Such a warm welcome. Just so you guys know, in case you didn't catch it in the intro, I do readings like this on your weekly forecast every single Monday. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing readings at the beginning of each month on the blessings you have coming in for the month. And I also do some timeless videos too, and private readings that you can check out on my Instagram. So if you're interested in any of that, feel free to check it out and subscribe to this channel and join this tarot and charm loving community. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this little window sun melt that my best friend made for me, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it on here just in case the wax melts or anything like that on the table. But now that my hands smell amazing, we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, the spell casting oracle, the secret garden oracle, and today's deck is so special and so personal to me, and I'll try not to blabber on about it too much, but this is the Goober slash Star Sisters tarot deck. I haven't yet decided on the name, but it was made by my sister for me, all 78 cards for me for Christmas this year. She worked so hard on it. My sister is amazing, and I hope you guys enjoy it here with me today. I'll link down any information on how she made the deck down below, but we will go ahead and get started because I know I could talk forever on it and just talk her up because I'm so proud and I love it so much. So I hope you guys love it here with me today. It's got such beautiful, it's so pretty, and she put so much love into it. Okay, proud sister moment, okay? So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with your reading here with these beautiful cards today. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2 for their week ahead. The week ahead for Group 2. The week ahead for Group 2. The week ahead for Group 2. Any information, energy, insights, or guidance. Okay, so you have 2 here. And they are the King of Cups and the Empress. All right, so some masculine and feminine energy coming in here. So let's see what else. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2 on their week ahead, weekly messages for Group 2. So you also have here the 5 of Swords. All right. So let's see what else is coming in with your other messages here for the week. So Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2 for their week ahead. Okay, so you have 2 here. The first one being Radiance, keep your head held high and follow the sun. And then it has this little sunflower, and you also have Adapt, and it says you will get yourself where you want to be. Adapt. So I felt both of those for you. So let's go ahead and look at your spellcasting oracle message here too. See what other energy we have coming in for the week for Group 2. Any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2 for their week ahead. The week ahead for Group 2. Group 2, what do we need to know about their week ahead, Group 2. Oh my, okay, so you had 2 that fell upwards here, so we're going to take both of those. Actually, no, you had 3. Okay, we'll go again. This does happen every once in a while. No panic needed. All right, so we're going to try again there. So, Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2 for their week ahead. Okay, so there we go. So you have here Courage. This is becoming a theme based off of the very first pile as well. So we have Courage showing up here with this beautiful lion stepping through this like mirror. I don't know, it's beautiful, this image. But there you have Courage. So we have one more message before we do the charms later on in the video. So stay tuned for that charm cast. But Group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. Okay, so you also have here Build Healthy Habits. That's such a like New Year's resolution type of card to have show up here. Build healthy habits. So we'll see what that has more coming in as I feel it out. But let's go ahead and start diving into these messages, Group 2. All right, so I want to talk about the fact that we have 2 different kinds of characters or archetypes showing up here with this 5 of Swords. And it just feels like we need to address this. So the 5 of Swords talks about a conflict or argument, but where the 5 of Wands is something that usually is like, is it teamwork? Is it not? The Five of Swords has more of a mental game to it. So someone may be manipulating you, or mentally, they're trying to play games with your mind, or you may just feel like they're constantly in competition with you. So they're those type of people that are like, if I had said, I got 2 hours of sleep, they would find a way to say they only had one, They're always trying to nitpick or be the one that lost more or be the one that wins more. You're always in competition with them. So if you feel like you are in competition, or you feel like you are the person who may be putting this type of competitive nature on someone, they may be exuding the energy of the Empress, because this is typically the middle pile is the one that I find most people choose. I don't know if it's specifically because it's in the middle and our eyes go straight to it. But because of that, we always tend to have mixed messages. So this may be both people, or it may be one or the other. So it just kind of depends for you specifically. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But the Empress talks about someone who is of the most feminine nature you could think of. So whatever that means for you, it's someone that can be very nurturing. They could be a mother, they could be your mother, they could be an aunt, someone who has usually more authority over you in terms of like being more mature or older than you, and they have a nurturing aspect to them. So they may feel like they may be condescending or something like that based off of this nature of the Five of Swords. But then you also have the King of Cups here. And the King of Cups is usually someone who's kind of secluded. They usually in that card, they're depicted as being someone who is on an island all their own. But they do really enjoy creative things. They would be the type of person that would go to the opera or watch they could be an actor or something like that, where they really like creative, theatrical sort of pursuits and things that they really feel passionate about. So these are just some things to think about when you think about who these people may be and why they may be bringing out this competitive nature into your week. But however they are bringing it out, it's usually not a great type of competition. It's not usually a friendly type of competition. It's usually very like intense, possibly, like I said, condescending, or they're just feeling like they gotta win or be just over the top of you in some way. And usually in a way that is, they're trying to make it out like they are smarter than you, or they have more over you in terms of smarts or mental capacity there. So those are just people to look out for this week. Maybe walk away from them if they ask to play a game with you, or if they're trying to just be in your bubble. Maybe it's time to have the courage to move away from them, which is similar to pile number 1. So again, sometimes the piles can be difficult to choose from. So if you were kind of not sure between pile 1 or 2, it might be beneficial to you, if you feel like this isn't entirely resonating, to check out pile number 1. But you do have courage showing up here, so it can be the courage to speak up against these people, speak up against the people who are oppressing you or trying to put you down or tell you off. And sometimes it's also the courage to walk away, to just know that like whatever they're trying to do is just egging them on, right? So if they're trying to bully you, manipulate you emotionally or emotionally or mentally, is what I'm getting here with the cups and then like the feminine energy and the swords here. They're trying to communicate a mental game with you. And it's just about sort of creating this ward against them, right? Because you kind of have this sort of ward energy already happening here. Like you're putting up some sort of like front that they can't really get to you. You have this force field, like this bubble, and their energy doesn't have to reflect or be a part of your energy this week if you make those boundaries for yourself. So let's see what else you have under here. Okay, so you have adapt and radiance. Those are the two different ones that came up here. So like I said, you're adapting already by just making the decision to possibly walk away or just be smarter than their tactics. And maybe you're even trying to build better habits with these people, or better habits that you don't fall into their trap, And on top of the adapt card, you also had radiance. Keep your head held up high and follow the sun. So this is your own inner sun. Follow what feels right to you this week. If it isn't them, if it isn't these people, then don't go to that party. Don't go to that game. Don't go to that thing that they're trying to bring you to or push you into or mentally manipulate over you. Whatever it is, you have radiance here. And radiance, like I said, you're kind of radiating this like bubble, this like it just feels like a force, right? Like not just a field, but like a literal force field, like a force to be reckoned with. So just show them that you're not going to let them have power over you right now. This is not their time. This is not what you need. And you're going to radiate what makes sense for you. How you feel, how you want to progress in life, whatever it is, whatever passions you want to do. You don't have to have them in your corner if you don't want them to. So you're building better habits for yourself for empowerment, building better habits for yourself in terms of the boundaries that you make, and journaling about your boundaries can be great too, like journaling and listing them out, because sometimes you need not only emotional but mental boundaries against people, and those like I said are not easy, but they are necessary. So you're definitely doing this for yourself, for your own mental health this week. I also just get a lot of determination from this image too, that you're determined to do what you need to, what it takes, and adapt where you may have felt it was lacking in your force field here, to radiate what you want, to be seen, so that people can see hey, back off. This is not about you. I got 2 hours of sleep and it's not about you. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and move on to your charms group 2. Like I said, very similar to group 1, but the charms may show us a different story. So we'll see what else comes up there for you in the little details. So group 2, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 2 for their week ahead. The week ahead for group 2. Okay. So, a few things fell off of the board, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up those so we can keep things nice and tidy. And if you guys are familiar with my reading style, you'll know that I like to just pick up all of the charms, look through them, see what's working, what's not, just feel out the energy. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in here so you can see more of what's happening here on the board, or the casting cloth here, and we'll go ahead and get started in your inner ring. All right, so first off, you don't have, like I said, you have some different details coming up here. So you have the persistent bolt. So this makes me think that there's this little chip here, right? So it makes me think you're being persistent beyond the chips and the feels that you've had, or the things that you've, chipped you down, that you're being persistent. You're going to go towards what you want. You're going to go towards your radiance. And if there's something that you need to work on this week outside of this courage and this 5 of Swords situation, you're going to persist through it. So if this is a project you're working on or something else that I haven't mentioned yet, then you are persisting. That's definitely in the mindset for you this week. You also have the letter T showing up. So this may represent a name, a place, a location, a part of a date like Thursday or something like that. So feel free to check out what you feel from this specific, whatever comes up first from the specific letter, and see what comes up there, but you may not know until the end of the week. Sometimes that happens for me. You also have the money or materialistic heart, so I always think of this as the shallow heart, they're trying to buy your love or trying to put something out there. They're trying to, put up a front that they really care about you, but their support comes from a more financial aspect. So this may be that someone is supporting you financially this week, but it also can be a more shallow something having to do with that King of Cups or with the Empress. So look out for that there, because it might be causing this overwhelming feeling, because you have the overwhelmed charm right underneath that, right? This used to be a bobby pin, but then it's expanded and expanded and expanded to the point where it's just overwhelmed. You can't even use it anymore. So it's time to have that persistence, but also make sure that you're not overburdening yourself this week with just a little bit too much. Make sure to take some time for yourself if you need to, some self-care there, because you don't want that sun, to move away from you, and so that you can build those better habits in your self-care. You also have here the cultural charm, so you may feel pressured in a 5 of Swords way because of your culture. Maybe there's something that is very competitive in your culture or certain cultures are clashing, so there's that sort of feeling there, where you feel like you are an outsider or people just don't fully understand you in your culture this week. So maybe it's time to educate them if you want to, if you feel like that's something that you would like to do, but it is not something that you have to do just because you're from a different culture. It's not like you owe anyone anything, right? So that's coming up as well for you in your central ring. Outside of that, you do have the number 8 showing up here next to a person. And so number 8, the 8 can, as we see, can make me think of the 8 of Cups because of the color here. But also, I think with this card, what came up to me first was just the cups in general. So I'm thinking of that King of Cups. And then we have the 8 here, which 8 can represent money, materialism, things like that. So because you had that shallow kind of heart or someone who's giving you financial help, maybe the King of Cups is actually someone who's going to be financially helping you. And maybe you feel that like pressure from them too, that they may be helping you, but you feel linked to them because of that, or you feel like the guilt or the manipulation that comes from that. So that may be a situation that may not resolve itself, but it may be something you have to work through this week if you need that financial help. And just reflecting on if that's the right decision or if there's maybe another option or opportunity there with someone of that situation there. But you do have good luck coming towards you this week because you have the little good luck charm of the ladybug here. And also with the ladybug, it makes me think of signs from spirit or from your spirit guides or anything like that, that you're getting signs somewhere. So maybe be looking at those, writing them down when you see them. And sometimes people will be like, oh, well, I saw a sign, but to know what it really means, sometimes you need to think about what you were thinking about, what you were looking at. So did you see the sign when you saw, like a poster about something or an event or something like that? See what the sign really means and work through that. So that's coming up there. And the reason why I say to see through it too is because you have the chain of events that like the universe is working in your favor. That's what this charm means. So it's something that's chained and linked together. So in the background, the universe or your spiritual team, your ancestors, whatever it is for you, is working in your favor through small steps. They're sending you signs towards a goal that you are manifesting right here at the end. So you're working towards something, or they're working for you in your favor towards something. And, it's just looking at those signs. What are those little signs that they are sending you to bring out this manifestation? You also have the crown showing up. So this is the loyalty charm. And it was kind of right above this person. So this made me think of the King of Cups. So right above the King of Cups, you have the actual crown. And with that makes me feel like you have to be loyal to them, which is maybe why this is a difficult situation, that maybe that manipulated feeling. Maybe they don't normally do this, but they have this sort of leg up on you, and you may not just like that feeling. And so it's working through that this week, and maybe because these steps, so look into those signs. Do they link to this specific situation, and see what comes up for you? You also have here the bull, so this could be that they are a Taurus, or you yourself are a Taurus or an earth sign, or they could be a water sign based off the cups. But Taurus also makes me think that you are, you're standing your ground. Like a bull stands its ground. When someone gets on their back, they're going to kick them right off, right? So again, this is very similar to group 1. So definitely check out the other one if you're interested, but this is like you also could be feeling stubborn as well, but because of what everything else has sort of come up, I feel like it's more about standing your ground here. And the signs that are coming in to help with that specific situation. You also have endurance coming in here and enthusiasm, and this also makes me think of being very energized. So you have the energized charm of if it'll show up here, of the little candy cane. And I always think of the candy cane because when I personally have any peppermint, it makes me feel very like energized and ready to go. And like, you just had some gum, you're ready to go, refreshed. And so what's happening is it's on the last quarter moon, which is about putting and releasing something. So you're going to create more energy right now because you may be holding on to so much energy based off the situation that when you let yourself put down those borders, put down that force field at the end of the day when you can and you feel safe. That's when you can recharge your energy, because you need to release that, put it back down. So if you feel like you've been on edge all day and then you came home and continued to stay on edge, that's going to deplete your energy so fast. And I'm not just talking about sleep. I'm talking about like your entire energy in terms of like how you present yourself to the world, your spiritual energy, your spiritual and soul level energy. So that's all coming in there too, to make sure that you release that at the end of the day and put it aside, take a cold shower or something to release it. You also have the senior charm happening here, so something that is older from your past, or someone who is of your senior, which I was talking about earlier with the Empress and the King of Cups, someone who is above you in some way, in terms of maturity level there. And then you have the travel charm next to thou shalt not steal. So maybe they're stealing an opportunity for you because of these ties that you have towards them. That is making it more difficult for you to travel or go somewhere at this time. And even if it's not them specifically, although this charm fell near, it could be that you just aren't able to go towards an opportunity right now because you are not old enough for it. So if you're under 21 or something like that, or if you can't fly at this time, even, and it has something to do with the past or a past situation, that's also showing up there. And lastly here you have the flexibility charm. And then next to that, you have the Cinderella shoe. So the Cinderella shoe makes me think that, you know, only one person, it's a size that fits none but one, you know? It's not a size that fits all. And it also, I was feeling like the midnight part of the Cinderella story. So at midnight, that's when all of that magic and everything kind of comes down. So again, being more flexible and taking down so that your energy can be preserved is really important here at midnight. Letting things be more flexible, put some of that aside. So with all of that said, group 2, I hope you enjoyed this reading here with my new deck today. We had courage here alongside building healthy habits. So I feel like it's time to build healthy habits with the people that you are working with here in this 5 of Swords situation with the King of Cups and the Empress here. So a mother or fatherly energy, possibly your parents or someone in your family in that way. You also have radiance here. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. So again, more that bull energy, but also taking down that when the sun goes down. And then lastly here, you have the adapt charm. So sometimes you have to adapt even if that shoe doesn't always fit. You're being more flexible about that. So those are some of your charms. These are some of your cards and the energy you have here for your week, group 2. I hope you enjoyed this reading here with me today. If you did, please be sure to give it a like in this video, because it really does help this channel continue to grow and lets me know that you enjoyed this reading here with me today. So thank you to those of you who have already liked the video. I really do appreciate it. And to those of you who also want to spread some lovely positivity down in the comments with a quote or something that made you smile this week, or even about the specific charms and different cards that came up, I'd love to hear, and I really do appreciate the feedback. And to those of you who are new to the channel, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Such a big welcome as well to the channel, as I do these readings every single Monday on your weekly forecast. And when I'm not doing those, I'm doing readings on timeless videos or on your monthly blessings for the month. So feel free to check those out, or any of the private readings I also have going on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the next one. Feel free to subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye. Hello, group 3. If you've decided to choose this star as well as this piece of Howlite, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set those right down there for you during your reading here today, as we are going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, the spellcasting oracle, the secret garden oracle, and today's deck is so special, so personal to me, and you guys haven't yet seen it, but my little sister made this deck, this entire 78 card tarot deck here for me to utilize on this channel, to utilize personally. She's one of my #1 supporters, and she put in so much work and effort. If you want to learn how to make these specific cards and the site that she used to make them, feel free to check that down below in the description. But we haven't yet decided on a name. my sister and I, we call each other Goober, so we were going to call it the Goober deck, but I also wanted to try to see if I could come up with another name, so we had like the Star Sisters deck, but we haven't decided yet, so that's where we're at. But I'm really excited. She put in so much work and effort and thought and love, so I hope you guys enjoy the messages from it here today. So let's go ahead and get started. So group three, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3 for their week ahead. The week ahead for group 3. Group 3, what do we need to know on their weekly messages for their week ahead? Group 3. Any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3 for their week ahead for group 3. All the other ones were just flying out today, but this deck is really thinking about your specific messages this week. I'm definitely feeling that. Feeling this one. Okay, so you have here the moon, which really makes sense, seeing as I was just talking about how they feel kind of hidden. The cards were feeling like they weren't really speaking to me. So you have the moon here, which means there's an illusion there happening for your week. So let's see, group 3. Okay, there we go. There's one more piece to the puzzle. Let's see if we can get any others out here right now. So you had here the 5 of Pentacles showing up, as well as the moon, and then the one that I just pulled out recently was a huge clump of cards, so we're going to keep going. So group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3 here. Group 3. Okay, so you also have here the King of Wands and the 5 of Wands. Wow, okay. The energy this week, sometimes, like I say, the collective energy for everyone between all 3 piles can really correlate. So there's definitely a correlation happening between all 3 piles. So we'll talk about that more with this 5 of Pentacles and 5 of Wands situation here. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and look at your other messages here to get some more information. So group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3 for their weekly messages. Group 3. Okay, there we are. So you have here strength. Don't let weeds and thistles cultivate in your garden. And then you have these little weeds. Oh my goodness. If you guys knew the inside joke sort of feeling of this specific way that things are going, it is aligning so deeply with pile 1, which I said the same for pile number 2. So apparently everybody's really feeling this energy, so I'm going to continue talking about it here in a moment. But let's go ahead and look at your spell casting oracle message here. That was much faster than our tarot deck, and you have commitment. So there is commitment there for you. And then we're going to go ahead and get your final message here before we do the charms later on in the video and do a charm casting, so stay tuned for that. But group 3 here, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 3. Okay. Wow, okay, comparison is toxic. So those are your messages for the week, so we're going to go ahead and deep dive into them now. So while you are similar to the other piles, like I mentioned, all of the piles have slight differences to each of them. So if you feel like this one is not immediately resonating, then maybe check out one of the other 2 piles. Since they're so similar, I can find it to be difficult for each of you to probably choose from each of the piles. But we'll go ahead and start diving into it. So with all of the piles, there was some sort of argument or some sort of conflict that was happening between another person and yourself. And the person that you have coming up here is the King of Wands here. And the King of Wands represents someone who is very determined. They want to get what they want. They have a lot of passion and a lot of drive, but they are much more specific about their goals, and they will lay them out on a mat, make sure you know, kind of person. Like they're going to have it all mapped out. They're going to have it very organized because they've matured to this king status. But with that means that you may be feeling that they are not entirely on your side this week, because you have here the 5 of Wands. So with the way that my sister did this, I think it was perfect, because you have all of these different people and then you wanting to go a different direction. So you have someone who's maybe trying to put their ideas, put their passions on you and try to tell you which way you need to go with your passions or where to direct them. And you may feel like this commitment to them, that like maybe this is your father, because it is a more masculine king energy, although they do not have to be someone who is of the gender of masculine or on the masculine side, but it is showcasing more of that heavier masculine energy, and that they may be just against you right now. You may not be feeling the support from them, and you also may not be feeling financial support from them. So this is one thing that's different from pile number 2. So you may not be feeling very financially supported from them, because you have the 5 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles talks about seeking support and refuge from a difficult situation in your finances. So this is not the person to go to. There are other people who can bring you strength, and other people who can help you in a situation if you need it this week, but this is not really your go-to person right now. You also have the moon showing up here, so there is something that maybe isn't coming to light this week. So if you're waiting on a call, on an email, on something that you are trying to get information on, but you haven't really been able to seek it out because something at the moment is hidden, or there's an illusion to it, or there's something about it that just isn't coming to light this week, then that's because this moon energy is sort of hovering over you at this time. So don't worry, it will come in over time, but this is just not the week for some of that to come in, and that's okay. So like I said, if you're waiting on something, it may just mean that you're going to have to be a little bit more patient and wait it out. Or if you feel like, also with the moon, and what I'm getting here too, is you have the comparison is toxic card. And with the moon, sometimes you can have that illusion pop in of comparison. So if you've been on social media a lot, comparing different things to different people, or comparing yourself even maybe to this king of wands and the direction that they're going and everything, you might be feeling this illusion like, oh no, they're on my side, they're doing great, I feel committed to them, they give me strength, they make me feel good about myself, and all this kind of stuff that maybe you've been sort of feeding yourself, or feeling like other people have been feeding you, or themselves have been feeding you this sort of dialogue, that it's been great. But like I said, this moon has this illusion, so there's just like this veil over everything where you feel like, oh yeah, they're giving me support, they're doing something, but maybe they're doing the bare minimum. Maybe they're not really putting in the commitment that you really truly deserve this week. Maybe they may seem like they're on your side on certain things, but when you really truly can look at it and unveil some of that, you're going to see the reality of it. So that's something else that I'm seeing come in here from your cards. And lastly here, like I said, you have strength though. So you do have strength on your side. Even if the moon is against you, you do have strength. And it says here, don't let weeds and thistles cultivate your garden. And this is a very similar message that I had to group number 1, so I'm just going to repeat it here. But you're growing a garden, right? We all have this garden in life we're growing, and our garden is made up of a whole bunch of flowers that represent our goals, our successes, our ideas, what we're wanting, what we don't want, and we each have our own. And sometimes other people creep into our garden, and they are these weeds. They're trying to take over, cultivate your space, take more than they need, and you may feel this commitment to them that you should be doing this, that this is what you're doing. You're trying to do it out of love or for some sort of need or feeling there that you need to. But it's about having the strength to push back, to keep them on their side of the fence, and make sure that you have your own border, your own place, that you have your own say, and to speak up, really speak up. That's coming up in all 3 groups. It's about speaking up against people who are trying to push or trying to become weeds in your own life garden. So look out for those this week, because they may be creeping in places that you weren't expecting. So that's coming in as well. So with all of that said, group 3 here, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms, because the charms have been giving us a lot of more enlightening messages this week. So we're going to go ahead and move on to those and see what comes in. So group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, insights, and guidance coming in for group 3 for their week ahead. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sort out the ones that fell off of the casting cloth here and see what's coming in so we can get a better reading here. I always flip the ones that fell upside down to make sure that we're getting a more accurate read. That's just how I personally read. But yeah. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in here so we can see all of the different messages a lot deeper. Don't worry, there's nothing missing here on the moon phases. But we'll go ahead and get started here in the central ring. And what you have here in your central ring is Aries. So this may be that you are an Aries, but seeing as an Aries is a fire sign, that King of Wands may be someone who is an Aries in their sun, moon, or rising sign. So look out for someone who is an Aries in that case. But in general, this also can just be talking about Aries as a more of an oracle message here for you guys. And Aries showcases courageous, right? It says courageous here, which gives me more of that strength, that bravery that's been coming in for a lot of the different groups here. So you have courageous showing up here in the very central ring of your week. So the focus of your week, something you're trying to utilize in your strength. And to go along with that, you have the bear paw charm. And so sometimes you have the bear paw where it falls this way, and it says, here it says bear paw there. And on one side it looks like this, where it's more direct, and on this side it's a little off-centered. So where bears go and hibernate for the winter, this is the hibernation side, this is the action side, and you got the hibernation, which makes me think that you're sort of hibernating under their energy of this Aries this week. You're trying to be less than, or you're trying to make yourself seem like you are less than, that, yeah, it's fine, go ahead, you can take up space in my garden, it's fine, it's not a big deal. But over time, it is going to take over that space where you're hibernating, and when you wake up to it, when that moon veil comes out of it, you're going to see the damage that it's done for you. So it's really important, because you're getting these messages now, to put in those steps to put those boundaries up and push them out of the way, or try to find ways to be in a healthier relationship with these specific people. If that is a romantic relationship, if it is a relationship that is with a family member, like I said, a more masculine family member, an uncle, a king can showcase like an uncle, a father, a grandfather, something like that. Or it can also be a platonic friendship sort of situation here. Beyond that, though, you also have a couple of things happening here. So you have the bolt charm, so you feel bolted down, very like heavy sort of. And what's coming from that heaviness, where you're getting that heaviness, comes from the selflessness. So like I said, you're just kind of letting people breeze over you. You're being too kind, being too nice, letting them take over a little bit too much. Because you can see here, you have this bottled up charm. So right now you may be noticing it, but you're sort of shoving it aside. You're like, oh, it's fine. It's not hurting me. It's not harming me at all. But you have the bottled up charm. So it's going to explode at some point. You're going to explode. And the reason why it feels selfless is because this is the selfless charm. So these selfless acts that you are doing, and you think that they're for like this higher good, are actually harming you. And these messages are really coming in to empower you to make better decisions, to make better habits, and to enlighten you, because right now you have that moon over the top of you. So right now you're getting more than you would get if you hadn't had this reading. So I really do encourage you guys to utilize this to your advantage this week. To go along with the moon cycle as well, you have another moon message here on the action moon of the first quarter moon, and right next to it another message here too, and that is the message of Capricorn showing up. But instead of it being about a specific Capricorn, as you can see here, it was flipped on the opposite side, so the oracle side, and Capricorn says ambitious. So it's time to put your ambitions forward. So maybe you may not have the money, or maybe you may not feel like you have the opportunities because you are having to put up these boundaries against this person, but they weren't giving you true opportunity anyway, right? They were being kind of sneaky, being a bit, they were trying to really get their own ambitions out more than yours, and so their support was kind of fake. So it's important to put your ambitions first and put action to them, and not let anyone else tell you how those are going to come together. So you have here also next to that the sewing machine charm, and what I think of a sewing machine is the whole point of it is to bridge two things together, to sew two things together. So it may be that you're just trying to blend two different ambitions together, and maybe they are telling you that this isn't the right thing to do or whatever, but it is one of the passions that you have, and it's up to you on how it's gonna pan out. But it's important to just try, right? Like, you can always take the seam ripper out, if you guys are familiar with using a seam ripper, and you can start over again, right? It's not something you have to have forever. So if you have an ambition that you want to go towards this week, some sort of thing that you're really enthusiastic and passionate about, definitely put action to it. Don't let them take over your garden. So you have a few other charms happening here. So you have the eraser charm. So this represents erasing or cutting away or cleaning a space, right? You're cleaning out something that you put down before. It's kind of like the seam ripper situation. You can write something down, but you can always erase it. If it isn't written in pen, you can always start over. You also have here next to that the Merry Christmas charm. So maybe you're just having to erase someone you'd met at an event for the holidays. That may have been Christmas or some other holiday that you celebrate, something recent that's showing up here. And then next to that, you also have the clean cut charm of the cleaver. And the cleaver is a clean cut, right? It's not something that's jagged like the hacksaw. This is just clean and tidy and nice. So you're erasing something, you're cleaning something up that maybe happened over the holidays with this 5 of Wands situation. Maybe you guys had some sort of argument, and this doesn't necessarily have to be with the same person, but there may have been an argument that happened within the holidays, and it's getting cleared up this week, especially since you have another closure charm over here. So it is just sort of closing something up. You also have presents showing up here. So this is to be present, or that you are getting gifts or something of like that sort of, you're getting gifts from someone. So like I said, I feel like someone may be financially helping you this week, but are they really kind of situation? Because you do have, the charm of the commitment charm, which you had the commitment card up in the very beginning. So I feel like there is some sort of commitment that you have towards this person, and it may seem like they are kind because you have the kindness charm showing up here. But next to it, you also have, like I said, you may need to reflect on this and see if they really truly have true intentions for you. Is it kindness from their own heart, or are they just doing it for their own good? So you have the reflection charm happening here in terms of finances, because this is the financial sort of like chain charm. So you feel kind of chained down by a financial situation that you're reflecting on that has these commitments, where you feel like you're getting gifts from someone that are true and honest, but you really need to reflect on that this week to figure out if something needs to be cleared up. Realize where maybe you're being taken advantage of, right? Because you're hibernating at this time. There's that veil over you, that comparison that's kind of coming in, and you're not able to see clearly. So it's really about seeing more clearly this week what is happening within your cave where you're hibernating, and coming out and seeing it more clearly, because something needs to be cleared up there, having to do with holidays as well as with this situation with your finances and who's trying to support you and are they really. And they really truly may be, but that is something you're going to have to look into yourself and dive into yourself there, especially with the Moon card. So with all of that said, group 3, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading here with me today. Like I said, if this didn't fully resonate with you on a fully more specific level, feel free to check out piles 1 or 2, because they all were very similar, like I mentioned, but you do have commitment showing up here. So again, this situation with commitment having to do with your finances. Are they truly supporting you? Are they taking advantage of you? Maybe a little bit of both. With this King of Wands. It may even been a situation having to do at the holidays, but this is about empowering yourself this week, because you are finally being able to take down this veil now that you know that it is now that you know that it exists, because of this reading, you can see where you can change someone's opinion, change their mind, or figure out why this was even showing up in the first place, why this veil even came up in the first place. Because you really do have the strength. You have your own garden, your own ambitions, your own life, and things that you want to go after. And maybe they aren't going to work out in the favor of this person, but it is in the favor of you. You also have comparison is toxic, so it could have been a toxic situation, or it just could be that you felt like you had to compare yourself, and instead of putting strength in you, you were feeling more like you had to follow in someone's footsteps, and that comparison came in. So those are the messages you had coming in this week. I really do see you trying to lift that veil and look at everything more clearly and more concisely, and really reflect on if they're there for you or not, and who's supporting you or not, and what ambitions you want to go towards. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please be sure to give it a like on this video if you really did enjoy it, and just in general to support this channel, as it really does help, and it's something easy and simple to do that I appreciate so much. So thank you to those of you who have already liked the video. Also, feel free to spread some positivity down below, especially with the type of week everyone is having. It's always nice to give some support down in the comments down below. So maybe a lovely comment, giving support or encouragement towards someone, that would be really lovely, or in general feedback about the charms or any of the messages that you received here today. And lastly, if you are new to the channel and this is one of your very first videos here with me, it's wonderful to have you guys here. I'm always here to support you, so it's lovely to have you. I do these weekly readings every single Monday, and when I'm not doing these readings on your weekly forecast, I'm doing readings on your beginning of the month blessings. And I also do readings that are more timeless, that you can look back at any time and check in on. So if you're interested in any of that, or the private readings that I do through my Instagram, you can check those out down below. But for those of you who have stayed this long, feel free to subscribe and join in on this community. It's lovely to have you here, and I'd love to have you guys here each week to continue to read for you. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Lift this veil, encourage yourself to give yourself more strength, and go after these passions and cultivate your garden. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.